goaltenders who are playing here in the final, Bobrovsky would be the smallest, because I do believe that the NHL is trending back to some of these smaller goalies. Wolf in Calgary, for example, Saros in Nashville. But you look at the big guys that are left, Skinner, even Wall coming out of the Toronto series, obviously Ottinger, Freddie Anderson, love him or hate him, like he's got a 930 whatever a save percentage so far in playoffs, and he's a big body as well.
Books, the best player for the Florida Panthers in Game 7, in my opinion, was Seth Jones. And I got to tell you, I did not see that coming. They make a move. They win a cup. They make a move to get this guy who plays 24 minutes, scores a goal, scores 2 goals, if we're being honest. One of them gets called back. But, are you surprised to see what he looks like on a good team?
100% surprised. Absolutely. I have a bias against this player, guys. I've had a really hard time shaking it. So I don't want people in the fraternity to say, oh, you're contradicting yourself because you're talking to Kipper and Bourne. That's not the way it is.
Yep.
I have always thought that he was a part-time defender. Like, I really thought he was a part-time defender, laissez-faire, lacked a lot of detail. I wasn't sure if the grit and determination that is required to be a star player, like, he's getting paid star money. Let's not forget that, 9.5. And he's now Florida's 2.5, I think, Chicago 8. They're sitting on 7. How great is that going to age if this is the version that you're going to get moving forward? I didn't see it. And now when I see them roll out Jones and then Ekblad, back to back on the right side, and then whatever else they throw in there with their mixture, this is really surprising to me. He killed plays. He was involved offensively. More importantly, it's curious. It's not curious. It's fascinating, and it's reassuring to see that when games get really hard and the stress level goes up, some guys' brains don't cave. And he was one of those guys, Borny, that I was always thinking, not sure. And he's proven me wrong so far in playoffs, if that makes sense. It's like sometimes, you're under stress and bad things happen all the time. That can't be said about Seth Jones. He's been really good. So far, he's proven me wrong.
And the one thing that I look upon now, and maybe I need to be a little bit open-minded more, but you can take someone who's really struggling, but if you put them in the right culture and the room's strong enough and the system's strong enough and you slot them in a particular place, you can turn someone's career around. And I think that's just exactly what's happened. Do you think the success so far of Seth Jones would force other teams to look at assets that they wouldn't look twice at and go, yeah, maybe we can turn a career around just like we did with Jones?
Yeah, probably.
No.
My answer is probably, because it's a copycat league, and people will do that. They will absolutely do that. They'll look around and they'll. Now, I would counter that by saying this: so he was part of the leadership in a really regrouping organization in Chicago, right? Like, everybody knows that it is what it is in Chicago, and for whatever reason, that's spoiled. And then he comes here and he's going to be held accountable, and he doesn't have to be the alpha dog. He just has to be worrying about himself, play his game to the best of his ability, actually elevate his game. Like, I look in Toronto, and it's a totally different situation. And I know you guys probably went through the whole Toronto discussion, and I don't want to regurgitate things for you, but I will say this: if I'm a buyer and I look at the Mitch Marner situation and I say to myself, you've been part of that leadership group, you're a star player during a regular season, can we get you to go to another level? I think that's where the contradiction lies for me there, because when you come from a situation like Seth Jones did in Chicago, and now you're insulated with what they have there, the Barkovs, the Ekblads, they bring in Marchand. Well, go down the whole list, the Chuck, Bobrovsky and net. You go through that. Kipper, you've been there, man. You don't want to let that guy in the stall beside you down, right? And I think that it's going to be still different for everybody, but I do know that the NHL is a copycat league. So yeah, they're going to try and regurgitate a career. Get guys. Look at what happens to guys that leave Buffalo. That's a good example, right? Guys that have left Buffalo.
Yeah. So
and look where they've gone.
So I know you got to get back to the golf course. One last question for me. That does make me wonder, like, are teams aware of the threat of handing players too much too soon? Because these teams that are bad, that suddenly get their first premier guy, it seems like they rush to give them the captaincy or to give them the long-term deal. And those are the players, it feels like to me, who have trouble meeting their potential. They're like, okay, I've already got all the accoutrement of a star player without having ever really become one.
Yeah, I think that I'd say it's 50-50 on that, Barney, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where I sit, and I'm more old school about it. If you haven't earned it, you don't get it. And I need you to go through the I need you to crawl before you walk before you run, and then all of us re-examine our salary cap and who's going to be there on our hardest day. And yeah, that's a real thing. Guys haven't gone through enough hard days before they're giving that pot of gold, and that's ass backwards for me. I don't like it that way. The league it's hard though, because people in the league are doing it, and there's tons of risk. I don't like it. I think you have to earn it, and that's my take on it. But I'll end it with this. I'll let you guys go. My contradiction, if there is one there, is that a guy like Matthew Nyes, for example, going to RFA status, to me, he's proven and earned it in a short order, where I'm more comfortable in giving that. That's different because he's earned that to me. So it's not that I don't want to give it, just earn it, and I'll give it to you.
I just need your professional advice as a former scout. If you were looking at a UFA list, and we know Marner now is a legit 100-point guy, but would there be any hesitation because of the lack of success on this guy? Would it affect his market price at any point if you were a scout looking at Marner, or is this guy just going to ring the bell July 1st?
He's going to get paid. But he wouldn't. If I was in contender, if I was a contending outfit right now, I would be offering him probably less than the competition out there. Somebody's going to overpay for that, because that's just the way it is. That's the way the league is. I'm not one of those guys, Kipper. So I don't want to be overly critical, but it is what it is for me. And if I'm in contender status, it's not like when you brought the Chuck to Florida, and it's not like when Rantanen went to Dallas. So. Conversation for another day, probably. The Rantanen, remember they asked him to waive his no trade, and imagine what Rantanen would have looked like in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. I'll give you that as an example. And so then I say to myself, well, Rantanen's at 12 or whatever he's at. How can I go past that if I'm a contending outfit, knowing what I know so far in Mitch Marner's career? How can I go past a Stanley Cup champion, going to Dallas, having this type of a playoff, making that number? How can I do that in good conscience? I can't.
Great stuff as always, Book. Thanks for stepping aside. Hole number, what, 4 did you say? 5?
Get out there.
Get out there. He's already gone.
I'm on my way, boys. I'll talk
All
to
right,
you soon.
thanks.
Jason Bukala, Pro Hockey Group, Sportsnet.
Feel off.
I can't believe he agrees to do this when I would deliver.
Well, Sam puts a lot of pressure on him.
He must.
A lot of pressure.
You got something on him or something? You got dirt?
Yeah.
He loves me.
Yeah.
He says, yeah.
What's not to love,
Well,
Sammy?
Listen to the first hour.
Hey, one thing we didn't do in the first hour?
Oh.